As a crocheter or a knitter or even another crafter, do you get requests from people to make things for them? It happens to me, you know, on a fairly regular basis, and while I try and be accommodating when I can, because I enjoy making things for the people in my life, sometimes projects just aren't feasible for one reason or another. And I also think on, you know, quite a few occasions, non-crocheter or non-crafty people, they don't quite grasp how time-consuming and complex some patterns can be. So they'll ask you to create something for them without realizing like the cost involved, both monetarily and time-wise. So sometimes you've got to say like, look, sorry, I'd love to, but I can't. You've got to turn the request down. That's definitely something I've got a lot better at over the last few years. I used to struggle to say no a lot, but yeah, I have improved with one exception. And that is when it comes to the nibblings. It is very difficult to say no to them. And so today I have been roped into making yet another project for my oldest niece. But I don't want it to seem like I'm reluctant to do this, because I'm kind of excited about this project too. So for a little bit of background, a bit of context here, she was at the shops with her mum a couple of weeks ago now, and she saw a toy that she described to me, which she wanted to get, but of course her mum said no, because she doesn't need more toys. She just doesn't need more toys. We don't want to encourage the overconsumption. But when she got a chance, she told me about this toy and asked if I would make one for her. And of course I said yes. So today, that's what we are going to make. And what is that toy, you may ask? Well, from what she described, it is a reversible panda, but it is a panda and a red panda. So I am going to do my best to accommodate here today and make that for my niece. The first thing I want to do is try and sketch out what she was talking about. Now, I only have a 7-year-old's description to go off here, so we're going to do our best. Normally, when I sketch things out like this, I like to use my sketchbook, but that is, let's say, currently inaccessible. So I'm just going to be rocking the old, you know, lined notepad here. So sorry if it looks a little bit ugly and it detracts from my drawing, but hey, my drawing skills aren't that great anyway. There's not much to detract from. But anyway, this is what she kind of described to me. They weren't upright pandas. They were like laying down, sort of loaf shaped. So what I want to try and do is capture something that looks like, so we're going to do like a bit of a nose at the front here, but then we're going to go up and do a head like that. I probably could have done that a little bit bigger, couldn't I? Oh well. So like that. And then we're going to do the body out like this. So it's kind of loafing a little bit. And then of course you'll have like the ears. And with the panda, we'll put a band on it, and we'll have like the eye patches and stuff like that. So that's, hopefully you can see that. I mean, that it kind of looks like a baby panda. So maybe we can put that spin on it. It'll be like baby creatures rather than fully grown adults. But then, of course, that's going to be the panda variety. So if we have the stripes, say like there, the blackness. And then we will mirror that with the red panda. So if we mirror that basic shape. And then hopefully I'll be able to like turn them inside out. And it's nothing too complex. I have done reversible amigurumi before. I mean, some of you may be familiar with my, I completely lost the word then, my Pokemon, that's it, the reversible Ditto Jigglypuff / Snorlax Pokemon I've done. This should be a hell of a lot more straightforward than that. So I'm fairly confident in my ability to be able to do it, but who knows what may happen during the design process. So to create this guy, I think I'm going to start off with the panda first. Let's pop you away. And for that, I'm going to grab out my white and black wool. Nice and basic. And I think No, actually, I think the first thing I'm going to do is move my camera so you can all see what's going on. White is never a good colour for me to use in these projects because it just does not show up really well on the background. Any sort of light colour, I have issues with it. I might need to get something else I can, you know, pop here to make the colour, well, pop. But anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's get on with the pattern. So for this one, I'm going to start off with a magic circle, but I don't think I'm going to be working in the round because I want to keep the bottom of this piece flat. So if we start off with 6 single crochet, and 6, okay, but then I'm going to chain, turn, and work backwards, and from here just work in rows. So there we go. 1 single crochet and increase, and single crochet, and then another increase. Now I might increase out once more one more time for the nose, and then I think I'll add some length by just single crocheting because I don't want to make this piece too big, mostly because my hands and my arms can't handle that at the moment, but also I want to like test the concept out first, and if it works the way I'm hoping it will, like at some point in the future, I can make some adjustments to the pattern and just increase the size. I mean, that's not a terribly difficult thing to do. That's what we got so far. You can see that. And I'm not going to make a huge nose. We just want like a little bump on the front. So let's go, we'll start with 2 rows, but we might bump that up to either 3 or 4. All right, that's just 2 rows. I don't know if I should add a 3rd or not. I'm thinking a 3rd might be just slightly too much. You know what, I'll try it anyway and see how it looks. So we're just going to add 12 more single crochet across here. I don't know. The thing is, it's difficult to tell because I haven't crocheted the rest of like the head and the body yet. So that might be a good size. It might be too large. Hell, it might even be too small. But as I said, I don't have the rest of the piece yet, so it's hard to sort of suss out the proper proportions. But I think we'll leave it there for now. One thing I do want to do is actually type this pattern down as I'm going, which is what I normally do with my patterns, so I can recreate it later. So now that I've got the nose done, I'm going to continue straight onto the head, but in the head pattern, I want to include the 2 black eye patches. When I was sort of originally like thinking about this pattern, I was going to crochet them separately and sew them on, but I think this way is just going to be easier, to be honest. I think it'll be a lot easier. So let's make sure I've got my Word document up so I can write this down. So on row 7, and then I want to, we'll start with 2, I think. We'll go 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. But I also want to include increases in this round because we're going to start adding the height to the head. So where is my, I know there was a center pole here somewhere. Where are you? Where are you? I feel like I spend half of my videos untangling yarn. Although you guys don't get to see it because I can edit that bit out. But so much time and storage space on my camera is wasted just untangling bloody yarn. That is 10 minutes I'll never get back. But we're going to do 2 single crochet in white to start off with. 2 single crochet. And then I'm going to bring you in. And we're going to go 1 in the black. Then I think I'm going to increase, and then a 3rd in the black. Writing down, so in black, you want 1, increase 1. And then I'm going to pop two white increases at the top here, because so far I've been working in like increases of 3 or multiples of 3. But for the head, I might want just that little bit of additional increasing. So if we go 1, 2, that's our first increase. 2nd increase in white. No, I don't want to pull the black yarn through, thank you. In white. So 2 increases. Black. And then for the remaining side, I'm just going to mirror what I did here. All right, I like the way it looks, but one thing I should have done, I think, is work in the front loop only. That would have given me that slightly sharper curve. So I'm going to have to frog my work and do it again. I mean, it's only a few stitches, but I never like having to frog my work. That is a lot better. You can even see the sharper curve there. So for the next couple of rows, why do I put my camera at these awkward angles when I have to squish myself down like this? I suppose it's so you guys can see better. But now that I've done the first row, for the next probably 2, possibly 3, I'm just going to continue increasing out, but also, you know, adding on to the black eye patches here. So that is what 3 rows of black looks like. I'm facing the same dilemma as I was with the nose. I don't know if that is the correct amount just yet, but I'm going to leave it there for now. And for the remainder of the head, I'm just going to continue on with white. So I want to probably increase out a couple more rounds, add some depth or length, and then I'm going to start decreasing down before I then increase back out for the body. And in between those 2 points, I'm going to add the black stripe. Might be a good stopping point there. Yeah, I'm going to call it. That's where we're going to stop. Time to add some length, depth, whatever we're calling it. I was going to start decreasing there, but I think I might add another couple of rows. The head's not very wide yet. Maybe 2 more will do. All right, let's check that out. Yeah, I think that works better. So that means it's decrease time now. We've got the head here in its, well, I was going to say its final form, but I don't know if it's going to be the final form, because I am now thinking, now that it is complete, that I might want to make the black eye patches a little bit bigger. They're not looking too bad, but they might benefit from like 1 additional row of black here. But that's not something I'm going to be fixing now. I don't want to frog all this work. However, my next step, or the next step in the process, is going to be to bring the black back in, because I'm going to add the stripe around the midsection here. And simultaneous to that, I'm going to start increasing out again to create the curve for the body. But the question I'm asking myself at this point is, how subtle do I want that increase to be? Because I could just do like consecutive increase rounds. That would give me a sharp increase. But I'm also considering doing an increase round followed by a single crochet round, just for that more subtle look. I'm thinking of going with the more subtle look just because it's a little bit different from what I did in the head, just, you know, change things up a little bit. Yeah, maybe we'll give that a go. I mean, if I don't like it and I have to frog my work, I have to frog my work. As long as it's not too many rows, I can handle that. All right, stripe. I'm gonna call it there for now, and then the rest of the body is just gonna be done in white. Heads up, you might hear a bit of noise in the background. It literally just started storming here. Yeah, there may be a few rumbles as the thunder rolls in, but that's not strictly important right now. What is important is that I have finished the shell, the first half of my panda creature. Like, I'm like fairly happy with that. The problem with making, well, amigurumi like this in rows is that it lacks some structural integrity, so it's hard to get a really good like feel or overview of the shape itself, because it flops all over the place. So I'm really not going to be able to, as I said, get a full like grasp of this thing until I put the pieces together. Well, I mean, I hope I get one then. But from what I can tell, I kind of like how this has turned out so far, with the exception of, like I said before, I do think I need to make the eye patches just that little bit larger. Speaking of things I need to add to this little bugger, it's going to need some additional details like eyes, nose, ears, tail, that sort of thing. But I think before I do that, I want to make the red panda version first, and then I can just get all those small details out of the way at the end. And now that I actually have this first piece, hopefully the second piece won't take as long to crochet, because really all I need to do is make some adjustments to where I've done the color changes to turn it into a red panda. But the basic shaping, I got that locked in. So yeah, that should speed things along a little bit, hopefully. All right, let's get on with that. And then finally, we have the red panda version, which is just as structurally sound as the original is. But I'm actually really pleased with how the color work turned out on the front of the face here. I'm hoping that will still hold up once I add the safety eyes. But doing that and like all the detail work I need to do is something that I'm going to have to do another day. I have sat here way too long today. It's time to give it a break. So I will see all of you again in a couple of seconds. It's been a minute because life likes to get in the way of my crochet projects, especially recently. But we're here, we're ready to go, which I'm pretty sure I was just up to the details. So I've got the two bodies, probably not the best phrasing, is it? But we've got the pandas, the foundation of our piece. Yeah, finally picked it up. So there we go, panda, red panda. Now I just have to add the details. I'm going to start by adding in the safety eyes. I've grabbed out both 14 and 12 millimeter, so I'm going to try those. But once I've got the eyes in, I just need to make ears for each of the pieces as well as tails. And I think that's all I want to include. I'm kind of on the fence about adding legs because the way I was picturing these pandas positioned, their legs were sort of tucked up under them, so I wasn't going to include them. But I suppose if I, leave them out of the pattern for now, if I think they could benefit from legs once the whole thing's finished, I can always add them in later, can't I? Because I will have to make like another version at least of these guys. So that's the plan for this morning. Hopefully I can execute it before something else interrupts me. All right, so I picked out the 12s because I've got eyes that have got sort of this design. They've got sort of a ring of color around the pupil. And I thought that would look rather cute, but 12 millimeter is the largest size I have in these eyes. Hopefully I've got matching pairs. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's put those in. All right, so that is the 12, but then if I try the 14 on the panda, I do actually really like the way the coloured eyes look. They just sort of have that extra pop, but I do wish I had a larger size. I like the colour. I think the size is a bit small. You know what I might actually do? I'll just leave them as is. Though I think these eyes are just a touch, on the smaller side, I'm going to leave them because I like the colour, but I'm also going to leave the 14 millimeter in the panda. Like, I don't think it matters that they don't match, though I might move the positioning of these eyes. They're a bit too high up for my taste. So yeah, they don't have to match. I mean, there's no rule saying that must be the case. Yeah, it's just a shame I don't have any larger size in these eyes. So we're going to stick with those. Let me grab the backs out. And then, as I said, from here, I just want to crochet myself all the additional details. I think I've got all the parts I need. I'm just going to do a quick review because I barely slept last night, so the brain fog is fogging more than usual. I feel like every single thing I have to do, I have to double and triple check my work because I hardly remember what I've done and I don't trust myself not to make mistakes. But for the panda, I have 2 ears and a tail, which that is all I need. And then for the red panda, I again have 2 ears and a tail, just slightly different shapes. I don't think I have to add anything else. I think that is literally it. I did add noses to both my little dudes here, so that's done. The eyes are in, so I think we're all set. Assembly time. I've got to admit, these are actually kind of cute. I was a bit worried there for a second. I didn't think they were looking so hot, but now that I've actually assembled them, I think they're kind of cute. And because I've finished assembling them, that means we've only got one thing left to do, and that is to join these 2 little guys together and test out if my reversibleness, I don't think reversibleness is a word, but we're going to go with it. My reversibleness actually works. I'm probably going to need both hands for this, so you might have to go on the floor. Do you want to go on the floor for a minute? I think that's a no. Anyway, I have completed the reversible panda, and like, they're kind of adorable. Not gonna lie, I did say that before, but they turned out quite a bit cuter than I thought they would. But the question is now, do they reverse like I wanted them to? Are you gonna be all right there? All right, you stay in my lap. She's resting her head on my hand. I feel bad moving it. I need to show the people the reversible amigurumi. Bloody ferret has me wrapped around her finger. Or her paw, I should say. All right. Here we go. Test time. And... well, it kind of works. It does kind of work. The one thing I wish I had done... sorry, Tilly, your claws on the table are a bit too loud. One thing that I wish I had... let's try that again, shall we? All right. One thing I wish I had done was make the pieces slightly more rounded. So at the bottom, I mean, you can see where I did the original semicircle. It has a very flat bottom, and I just increased out from that, sort of trying to maintain that flatness along the bottom. In hindsight, I wish I had curved it out a little bit more. So rather than a semicircle, the piece I perhaps should have gone with would have looked more like a, I don't know, a pie with a nice big slice or wedge taken out of it, just to curl the sides of the piece around a little bit more. That could have worked out a little bit better. You can say hello. That could have worked out a little bit better, I think. But you know, for my first attempt at amigurumi, or a reversible amigurumi, I should say, worked in rows, I quite like how this ended up. But I suppose the main thing is that my niece will like how it ended up. And another thing I thought was that in the end, I'm kind of glad I didn't add any legs. I mean, perhaps it could improve the look, but at the moment, I'm thinking just because of the shape of it, it might have detracted from it instead. But I suppose that's just one of those things that I'd really have to try it and find out. But no, all in all, I am fairly happy with my reversible panda. I'm sorry, I'm just reversing it again, but I need the table to assist me for some reason. But so there's the red panda version. And another thing, I did end up using white yarn to join the two pieces together. I thought that might have been the best option because at least in the red panda, I thought it might look like, what's the word? Counter shading, that's it. So the red panda's underbelly, yeah, I figured the white could sort of represent the beginning of that, which didn't work out too badly. To be honest, I don't know what else I would have... To be honest, I don't know what else I would have got. Maybe I should leave it on the table. All right, I'm going to try it one more time. I don't know what else I would have gone with because if I'd used black, that wouldn't have matched the red panda for one, but also it would have been too much black on the panda itself. If I'd used the orange to match the red panda, then that would have, conflicted with the actual panda. So, in the end, white was my best option. And it really doesn't look, too bad, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Really, the only other thing I probably could have done is try to sew the two pieces together using some sort of invisible stitch. But the white doesn't look so bad that I'm willing to frog it and try it. This is good enough for me. And like I said, hopefully it will be good enough for my niece as well. I'm not going to know that for a few days, however, because I won't be seeing my niece until the weekend. So I'm going to pop you there until whenever I see my niece. But one thing that we don't have to wait until the weekend for is And today's featured creator on the hookup is LemonCrocheting, and they say, I learned how to crochet at school in 1st grade, and ever since I've had years of excessive crocheting and none at all. I love crafting, but fiber arts is what I love most. I love upcycling and using unconventional materials for my crochet projects, like making t-shirt yarn, taking apart old sweaters for yarn, and using crocheting with even twine. I am a creative person and I love yarn shopping way too much. I am currently really into making crochet bags, and I've been making my own patterns for them. I have made clothing, blankets, hats, pillows, plushies, bags, and other things, but I am trying to expand even more. That's definitely an admirable goal, trying to make as many different crochet projects as possible. Something that I would like to do as well. Also with the upcycling and like using unconventional materials, I like to like dabble in that every now and then as well. But if you would like to check out the LemonCrocheting's links, all of them will be down in the description, and so we'll link to the hookup form if you would like to apply for yourself. Thank you all for watching today. While I can't yet get my niece's thoughts on my little reversible panda amigurumi, please let me know yours and just any tips or suggestions you would have for improving this. Like I said, one of them is that I think I need to like round out the piece a little bit more, but other than that, I think I'm pretty pleased with it. It's unusual that I only have one critique of my work, but with this one, I think it's just the one so far. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think it's worth sharing. And we will see you in the next one. Won't we? See you in the next one?